start the recording, switch streams here. And yeah, welcome back, guys. This is our 26th session of Arcadia. We've been at this for over half a year at this point, and I want to thank you for both playing and watching. I don't think I have much in the way of announcements, other than the fact that next week I have a bit of a surprise for my players, but we'll see where things take us today. So, Captain, if you want to go ahead and kick things off with your log.
Okay. Captain's Log Supplemental, Stardate 50046.8. I find myself in a difficult position. There are 3 coutier on board my ship, and in order to get them home, I must either violate the Prime Directive or deal with Q. I hate to admit it, but I don't know enough about the coutier and their situation to make a decision. I'll have to hope that Q is sincere. Before that, however, Dr. Sabo has summoned me to see Commander Crowley, who has apparently undergone some form of change.
Alright. So yeah, timeline-wise, this is about, we'll say, 30 minutes to an hour after Crowley wakes up. And to Captain, when you walk into sickbay, you see that both Sabo and Andromeda are kind of fussing over Crowley at the moment. They're running all sorts of scans and what basically appears to be almost a full physical.
Doctor, this looks like great news. Crowley, how are you feeling?
Different, sir. Feel better, but different.
Yes, it appears that the interaction between the Borg nanites and Andromeda's nanites have initiated a sort of metamorphosis with the commander.
Is he healthy?
To all appearances, yes. As a matter of fact, his artificial lung had been rejected, and a completely organic replacement has generated in its place. But there have been some other unanticipated... Well, you'll just have to see for yourself, Captain.
What are you talking about?
Well, I feel stronger for one. I haven't felt like this in a long time.
Maybe we should have a rematch then.
If we do, it's unarmed.
So Andromeda does kind of cut in and say, I don't know how much either you, Commander, or Captain really care about the details, but what I've been able to tell is that my nanoprobes basically repurpose the Borg ones so that instead of assimilating Crowley here, they repaired any internal damage. Sort of using the assimilation process for a positive benefit rather than a negative one. As for the glowing palms, though, that'll probably go away in time. Eventually, I figure my nanoprobes will run out of energy on their own, and they'll filter out of Crowley's system harmlessly. Until then, he's just going to have to deal with bioluminescent palms.
I don't know, I actually quite like them. But from everything I've seen, though, I feel fine. Physical seems to go fine. If the doctor allows it, I'd like to get back on duty.
I would not mind keeping you here for further observation for a little while, Commander.
Doctor's orders.
Doctor, would it be okay if I spoke with Crowley about ship operations for a few minutes?
Of course. I'll go ahead and head into my little office over here. I'd be out of hearing range in here, wouldn't I? To give them privacy? Okay.
The office is magically soundproofed as per the show. And yeah, Andromeda will also take a note, and she'll just kind of wander off as well.
Commander, I wanted to run past a Prime Directive issue with you, if you feel up to it.
I feel more than fine. What's the issue?
The crew tier. I normally would... the Prime Directive does allow us to make command decisions when the natural development of a species has already been interrupted, which is true here of the crew tier. But normally when we make those decisions, we know, or could at least evaluate what kind of impact breaking the Prime Directive would cause. With the crew tier, sending them back to the Delta Quadrant, we don't know. We don't know what's in their sector, what else is on their planet even. The only alternative is resettlement here or Q.
Q. He's not back again, is he?
Apparently it is a different Q, although for all I know it's the same one.
We can't leave them here because they will just die off, isolated alone from their own people. Can't send them back because the technology could be limiting, or technological contamination of their culture. What does Q want?
She wants me to reenact a glorious battle from Serrato Draco legend.
Really? A fight?
It appears so.
And what do we get out of this?
She will return the crew tier back to their home.
Hell, that'll just raise more questions for their culture of how these three were brought back. And if they find out that a omnipotent being was able to bring them back here, they may get contaminated by having a new god to worship.
So you're saying the Prime Directive would be violated either way?
I'd believe so, but this would allow them to get back to their people.
Well, we can send them back too with, we were able to salvage a transwarp coil.
Well, this way sends them back without the technology. It's hard to say what would happen with them. Like, with the technology, they could mount a defense against the Borg, potentially. Or it just pulls the Borg to their planet and assimilates them all. It's a double-edged sword. In one way, I think the best option would be do what Q does, or suggest we do. That way they're taken back without any technology. They only have the knowledge, but it would only give them time to prepare. Keep them under the Borg's radar.
Okay.
Or we sentence them to live here and die alone.
I was thinking the same thing. Alright, thank you, Commander. I'll speak with the crew here. I should let you rest.
Thank you, sir. I don't feel tired, though.
I'm going to pull up a pad and type in one movie suggestion. E.T., a Earth classic. And something for your bioluminescent hands, Commander.
No. Thank you, sir.
And I'll go ahead and try to track down one of the crew tiers.
Okay. Before I forget, so mechanically, Crowley, you now have the Fast Recovery 1 effect or trait. Basically what this means is at the start of each of your turns, you regain 1 stress up to your normal maximum, and you also may spend 2 threat to remove an injury at the start of your turn.
Very cool.
Yeah,
I recommend everyone gets it simulated.
I was very happy that the book already had something statted out like I had in mind. So, thank you, Modifius, for having foresight. But yeah, Captain, you would pretty much be able to find the crew tier either in their quarters or you could basically call them to your ready room. So whichever you'd prefer, I suppose.
I'll meet them.
Okay. And of course, the one thing you choose, I don't have a map for. So we'll just use theater of the mind. So yeah, you go to the quarters which have been assigned to the crew tier, and you chime the door and one answers, and it happens to be your friend Zochrelif. And he says, Captain, to what do I owe the pleasure?
Well, Zochrelif, I need to just discuss with you another option of getting you home.
I'm listening.
An alien being known to us as Q has offered to transport you home without the contamination to your culture of giving you technology. Q has vast power and ability, and will often portray itself as a god or a deity. This too could be culturally just as damaging to your culture as giving you the technology would. And I wanted to let you know what Q is and what Q isn't.
So Zochrelif kind of looks at you and says, maybe I don't understand the situation. There's a omnipotent being that is willing to help us? What are they asking in return?
Well, this Q intends to test me in some way, I assume for its own entertainment. In our past dealings with Q and our members of the Q Continuum have left a less than reputable reputation for Q, normally as tricksters. I'm going to give this Q the benefit of the doubt, however, because if she can do what she claims to be able to, I think it would be the best option available to us. But these are your people. I'm not going to make this decision without consulting you first.
There's a pause, and eventually he says, whatever gets us home, I do not care what, but if it is possible to get us home, I would prefer that option.
But you might. Well, I'll go ahead and make the arrangements, and hopefully we can get this done for you.
I appreciate it. And he kind of inclines his head a little bit.
Well, I have arrangements to make, but if you need anything, please let someone on the crew know.
Understood.
And I guess now I'll head over to Counselor Nilan, unless anyone else has a scene that needs to get done before that.
Okay.
Yeah, not sure how long this will take there, but I would like to ask Andromeda if she wants to watch E.T. with me.
Andromeda has no issue with this, sure. Since you're stuck in sickbay for the next few hours anyway.
Yeah, watch E.T. with her.
Alright. Yeah. She'll comment a few times about how that's totally not how things work, but, you know. You get the feeling that Andromeda's maybe a movie critic.
She's totally going to be eating some Reese's Pieces later, though.
She's giving E.T. the Neil deGrasse Tyson treatment. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, pretty much.
Andromeda would be excellent in CinemaSins.
Alright, so Captain, I'm assuming you're meeting the counselor in his office?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, let me see. Whose token do I already have on here? I don't have anybody's token on here. Wonderful. Alright, let's see. So, there's the captain. And there's Nilan.
All right, so I imagine the camera's cutting in right after I've completely explained to the counselor everything that's happened and what the situation is.
Mm-hmm.
And so counselor, I do think we want to continue the preparations for the transwarp coil if necessary, but perhaps you'll agree with Crowley and my assessment that Q's option is the lesser of two evils.
I think I would. Yes, oddly enough, bring with the methods of a Q. But in order to least violate the Prime Directive, I do think their choice is the lesser of the two.
Well, I suppose we should do it. And I look really stupid right now, just like wondering how I'm supposed to do this. Q, are you here?
So yeah, you've said the quote-unquote magic word, and she pretty much appears, she'll appear on the screen you've got in your office, and she'll say, Captain, I was wondering when you'd call.
Well, we determined that you would violate the Prime Directive less than we would by sending them back through transwarp conduits.
Oh, most definitely. You would have contaminated their culture so much that, I don't think I need to tell you.
Definitely more than you, but... So, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, Q. I'm willing to entertain your test. However, we will be doing this test on the holodeck. I don't need to be slaying your... I don't intend to recreate the actual violence of the Serrata Draco past.
What would be the point then?
You can turn our safeties off.
Well, then it might as well be
we
the
can
real
make the
thing.
test I think for our own benefit, we would prefer that it be holograms.
She doesn't respond to that, so there is kind of like 15 seconds to 30 seconds of silence. Eventually, though, she comes back and says, I will allow you up to 6 individuals to take with you, not including Chief Hylong. I'm sending her along because I find it funny.
Thank you, Hugh. And I think we'll both be pleasantly surprised with this. Trust works both ways. Hopefully, we can have a better relationship with you than Picard did with his Q.
But that relationship was stellar.
I would ask Picard that question.
Oh, we all know deep down Picard likes Q.
All right, I will assemble 6 additional people.
Alright, so who are you taking on this away mission?
Well, Matic. Matic's coming.
Okay.
Crowley's probably not ready yet, unless we can do this after his recovery period.
Yeah, and the one thing I'll say, not to say no to Matic, is remember he is leaving very shortly. So...
Oh, I did not know.
Yeah, he's got to bail in a couple minutes. So if you want to bring him along, I can NPC him, but I would recommend maybe a different engineer.
Okay. I mean, I'm just going to leave it up to the players. Who does each person want to take?
Well, I'll take the... if you want to take an engineer, I can be the... crap. Go ahead. Somebody else talk while I get back to roll 20 because I hit the wrong button.
All right.
All right.
I mean, we are going to be fighting and recreating medieval Serrato Draco culture.
Hmm.
I'm fine with y'all taking Matic, and I mean, if dice don't roll in the favor, then dice don't roll in the favor, you know.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, if Crowley can go, I would love to go.
Sure.
I'll take Alon because unless we're flying something. Hold on. No. My character can shoot decent or defend himself decently.
So Janice then?
Yeah, Janice has got security of 4. Yeah, he's gonna go.
Oh yeah, definitely come along. All right.
Yeah.
I think that just leaves the counselor and the
Yeah.
doctor.
Hmm.
Are everybody that's involved, are they supposed to be combatants, or can a doctor come along for, to do doctor stuff?
Out of character, I'll say that having someone skilled in medicine is probably a good thing.
All right, then I'll just take Sabo.
Okay.
Let's see.
You also want to keep an eye on Crowley too, Sabo.
Yeah.
Would you mind, GM, if I took Sin, or is Sin kind of yours?
I mean, yeah, you could certainly take Sin.
I'll take Sin.
All right.
Oh, not Milan?
Nah, Non's not going to do anything in combat.
What if we just convince them to not fight us? Eh?
I don't think Q would like that.
You never know.
All right. So, you all assemble this haphazard away team. Where would you be assembling it out of curiosity?
I'm gonna hope Q lets us do this, but the holodeck?
All right. So, you appear in the holodeck. Or not you appear. You all gather in the holodeck. And for the moment, Q doesn't seem to be around. Sorry, I'm just gathering
And we're all
tokens
here?
Before I head into the holodeck, I want to take Andromeda to the side and just talk to her quietly.
Okay.
Andromeda,
Yes, Crowley.
I just wanted to say thank you. You didn't have to do what you did.
I mean,
So,
it's kind of the charge of a doctor to save the patient by whatever means.
from a lot of cultures I've interacted with, what you did is enormous. You gave a piece of yourself to save me, and I am very appreciative of that. I just want to say thank you. And I really do like the glowing palms.
Well, maybe you can use them as a nightlight.
I was actually thinking of that too. Thank you. You've given me a chance to stay with this crew longer.
She just kind of bows her head, but doesn't really say anything verbally.
Whenever we get this done and get back, I would like to introduce you to some cuisines. I'm going to try and set up a course meal: Vulcan, Betazed, and human. If you're interested.
Couldn't hurt, sure.
Yeah. I'll try to make a wide range for a delectable palate.
Well, stay safe on your mission with Q, I suppose.
Well, that's the plan. I feel like nothing can hurt me right now.
Well,
And
don't
heal.
think you're invincible. My nanoprobes can do many a thing, but they don't do that.
It'll be fun. I'll be back. And he'll head to the holodeck.
Okay. So yeah, all 6, 7 of you? Yes, all 7 of you are currently just sort of sitting in the holodeck, looking around, waiting for something to happen.
I'll clear my throat. Q, we are ready.
Five
So,
Latinum says it's a trap.
so the environment around you immediately changes, and it's done so in such a fashion that you are not able to tell whether it is a actual transition or if it is the holodeck simply kicking in. And I will put you on this map and describe what you're seeing. So, you kind of arrive here. Just adjust the stream a little bit. There we go. So what you're seeing is a vast open plain. The ground and the grass around you is sort of broken up here and there by rocky outcroppings. In the distance, you see the beginnings of a forest as well as a great looming mountain range. There are two suns in the sky, the smaller of which is beginning to creep behind the aforementioned mountain. The temperature, it's a bit chillier than ship normal, but it's nothing you can't handle. When you look at yourselves, though, you see that your attire has changed. You all seem to be dressed in very basic cloth, furs, and leathers, with no weapons or any other equipment to speak of. Interestingly, the grandest among you happens to be Hailong, who I would describe as looking like a barbarian queen. So it shows off her muscles, it shows off her definition, but Hailong does not seem thrilled about this at all.
So are we in the past or Hailong's fantasy, Captain?
Well, I don't think Hailong's, I'll look over to her, really glad that we're doing this, but I assume this is just a simulation.
So Hailong does kind of look around and says, well, ignoring the fact that Madame Q decided to dress me like this, and she kind of shakes her fist at the empty sky as if to say, I will rue the day. She takes a look around and says, I believe we are on the Arlo, I had it right, the Arlo Peninsula. It's here that Sidrad's tale is said to take place, but if that's the mountain I think it is, then we're about a day's march away from the village where his legend takes place.
Can you give us a quick rundown of the legend? That way we know what, like, not to fuck up anything, just in case Q is decided to put us in the past.
Certainly. But perhaps we should talk and walk. That way we're covering some ground.
I have a question.
Okay.
I look at the captain. Who do I see?
You see the captain.
Everyone looks normal?
To you, yes.
I want to find something reflective.
I was just about to say that.
Are
Are there rivers nearby or anything, Hailong?
She thinks for a moment and says, can't really think of anything off the top of my head. And she,
Perhaps we'll pass a body of water on our way.
there is a lake nearby. Guess we should stop there first then.
If it's not too out of the way, yeah.
So, Hailong begins setting off into the distance and, motions for y'all to follow her. And as you're walking, she says, so I think before I get to the legend itself, I should go over a few interesting and possibly crucial details. The Cerrado Draco of this time are extremely superstitious. They see the influence of higher powers everywhere. I wouldn't say that they particularly believe in magic at this point, but they do sort of anything they can't explain via their crude science is a act of a god or goddess. For example, lightning. They feel that is if I know my mythology of Earth right, they feel it is similar to Thor or Odin striking down with great fury. Now, I don't know how much that'll affect us in the legend, but I thought it important to bring up. But yes, the legend. So Sidrad pretty much begins like every other story of legend that has a hero rising to greatness. In that Sidrad starts as a normal farmer. Eventually, his field and his home gets destroyed by a roving band of savages, which then sort of sets Sidrad on this journey to grow stronger and a personal goal to prevent that from happening to anyone else. He comes to the defense of many villages, but the one that the legend specifically mentioned is Arcos. Arcos is where his love Ruki lives, and she motions at herself. She usually is depicted as wearing something like this. But before anyone gets any bright ideas, no, I'm not going to seduce him. Anyway, so because of Ruki being in Arcos, when a warring faction threatens it, Sidrad naturally steps forward. However, Arcos does not have many fighters, which leaves Sidrad extremely outnumbered. She kind of pauses, looks around, and says, we're here at the lake, over here. And she leads you through a sort of a game path through the trees, and eventually you come to the edge of a lake. And yeah, you can do as you wish.
I want to look at my reflection.
Okay. You see yourself.
I'm going to... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Do Cerdo Dracos bleed red whenever they get cut?
I think, if I remember my past notes, they bleed green.
I want to find a sharp rock and just kind of nick my hand just to see what happens.
Okay. So you nick yourself, and yeah, you bleed red.
Alright, I mean, hopefully things work out. I kind of offer the rock up to see if anyone else wants to nick themselves.
I bleed green, so
Well, if this is the holodeck, the safety controls are off.
Can I throw the rock at the wall to try to get the... Well, no, because it's a hologram. It won't cause the walls to flicker.
Mm-hmm. You need to do that with a comm badge, which you don't have.
Can I make one?
From rocks and sticks? Probably not.
It's an extended task.
Don't give me extended task. I blew one out of the water yesterday.
Jesus Christ, 12 freaking work in one go. It's freaking insane.
The quote... Go ahead.
listen. Hi, long. Sorry. This village, are they going to be fine with seeing aliens? Because if we are not masked in any way, we're going to look like we do.
Well, in the time it took the away team here to assemble, I took the liberty of looking up past encounters with Q. And what I found, sir, was that there was an instance where Q transported the senior staff of the Enterprise to Robin Hood times. Among them was Lieutenant Worf, who was a Klingon, and to my knowledge, those in the, I guess you would call it a simulation? Those in the simulation did not view him as an alien or really a Klingon. They simply viewed him as a normal human. My best guess is that's hopefully the case here.
Hopefully.
Imagine Lieutenant Worf is a merry man.
Hi, Long. The gods and the gods and goddesses, are they depicted as Certo-Dracos, or are they depicted as other beings?
They are depicted very similar to how Q has appeared to both the captain and I. Very resplendent, very similar in anatomy to us, but also sort of greater. For example, she points up at the twin suns. There are two gods that the suns represent. The larger, Ushu, and the smaller, Tindro. It is said that the smaller Tindro chases after Ushu in an attempt to impress her, but never quite catches up. Which, I think it's worth saying that had my people remained superstitious, they might have seen the solar alignment of 2354 as a sign that Tindro finally succeeded.
Well, if we are in the past, we could probably use a lot of this stuff to make some prophecies up real quick.
No, we don't want to contaminate their culture as much as possible. Let's try and keep a low profile. Prime directive still applies even if this is a simulation. Let's just err on the side of caution because it is Q.
So, do you guys do anything else while you're at the lake, or do you get back on the road, quote unquote?
I'm gonna walk up to the edge of the lake and just kind of dip my hand in the water and see if anything happens.
Yes, a piranha jumps out, eats your face, and no.
Awesome.
No, nothing really happens. The water is cool against your hand. I would say it looks very clean. It's not, crystal clear, but you can see a good ways into it.
Okay. Is there anything that might be out of the ordinary for a lake? In the water?
As...
Ugh. Not 100% sure, so...
I mean, are you looking for a woman lying in a pond handing out swords, or...
Maybe. No.
A horrible way to run a government.
Well, I didn't vote for you. Well, I'm going to run on the thing that I'm guessing Sin doesn't know about the Arturian legend, so we'll just nix that.
All right. So, with that out of the way, you get going again, and Hailong resumes her story. So, Sidrad, being severely outnumbered, makes a plea to the great goddess Ona, who we now know as Q, for aid. And she comes to Sidrad in his dreams that very night and imparts on Sidrad both strength and a weapon. This weapon is said to be a manifestation of Sidrad's power and emotions. Now, the legends aren't very clear on this point, and it varies from who tells the story. Sometimes it is a greatsword, other times it is a battle axe, other times still it is a great halberd. Whatever the case, one thing that is agreed across all who tell it is that this weapon is a sort of energy or ephemeral weapon that he can summon at will. But, of course, until we see it in person, I can't really comment. Anyway, once he has this weapon in hand, he then faces the incoming warband, and he slays over 100 would-be bandits under the command of a well-known and reoccurring sort of villain in Serato Draco mythos known as Erdrog. And though Erdrog survives, Sidrad is able to save Arcos. And then, after that, Sidrad hooks up with Ruki, they have many sons and daughters, and him and his descendants expand Arcos until it becomes the first city. And that's pretty much all the legend says.
Fascinating. Shall be interesting to see what happens. I'm still under the partial belief that this is real.
I mean, based on what we know about the Q, it's probably a safe bet that this is the real deal.
Even if not, safeties are off. So Let's try and head there as quickly as possible. Let's see what our role is supposed to be.
All right. So yeah, you head. Let's see how fast you get there. If I could get a fitness and con from everyone, and I'm going to go with whoever has the lowest number of successes.
I have athletics as a focus. Can I apply?
That'll apply.
Dang.
All right, I see zeros for the captain, so you guys don't have to roll anymore.
Okay.
So, Captain, you really weren't expecting to go on a hike today. So, while you are able to keep up with Hailong's pace, it is one of those things where you basically are slowing the rest of the party down, and probably a few others are as well. But Hailong, noticing this, does kind of decrease her pace. And at this point, you would see that both suns are beginning to trail towards the horizon. Hailong sort of takes gauge of where you are and says, I think maybe another day, sir. Or not a day, maybe another 6 hours worth of travel. But I would not recommend traveling at night.
That's probably for the best. Let's look for a campsite.
So either Hailong or Sin can do this because they both are skilled survivalists. You know what? Let's do Sin. That way we keep Sin involved.
All right.
So we'll have Sin roll a. How about a insight? Maybe either con or security.
Let's go with security. Security.
Hey, look at that. You get a momentum. Sorry, I forgot to mention it was difficulty 1.
Okay.
But yeah, Sin finds a rocky outcropping that should offer some shelter from the elements. And she gets a fire going and otherwise just sort of gets a perimeter up around the fire and the outcropping. And yeah, you guys are free to sort of walk about the cabin for a little bit in case you wanted to do anything in particular before we sort of go to the next morning.
I'll keep watch, but I don't need to sleep for a little while.
Okay. All right. Anyone else?
Sin would just be keeping watch, along with Crowley, when either she'll take watch with him or take watch after him.
Okay.
Sabo can help too because apparently Vulcans don't need to sleep every night, so I can assist.
Okay. I would like each of you three to roll me a. Let's do an insight security here.
Okay.
I'm guessing to look around for anything crafty or hidden.
Sort of, yeah.
Would espionage work
I'm going to
as a
say
focus?
that. The difficulty is a 2. I keep forgetting to mention the difficulty. Alright, so Sin succeeding. What Sin's going to notice is about halfway through her watch, whichever watch you want to imagine, she picks up the scent of something that is nearby. If I had to try and describe the smell, it is sort of a mixture between wet dog fur and lavender. So it's not entirely unpleasant, but it's still kind of eh.
I'm gonna guess everyone is asleep except for me at this point.
Probably. Yeah, let's do it that way.
I'm gonna wake up both Hylong and Crowley. I've seemed to have picked up the scent of something that may be close by. We may want to go ahead and check it out, see what it might be.
Sure. Let's wake up the rest of everyone, just in case if it's something big.
Of course.
All right. So, you wake everyone up, and I leave it to each individual person. Well, basically, is anyone going to stay behind at the campsite, or are you all going to kind of explore whatever this thing is?
Oh, I'm not happy about being woke, so I'm kind of half dazed, chilling at the site. I'll stay here and make sure that the attacks are fire.
Okay.
Lieutenant, we don't have anything here to protect. Once you're a little bit of walking will wake you up.
Okay.
All right. So, as the six of you begin to sort of look around and try to find the source of the smell, you do find in a somewhat of a clearing about maybe 5 minutes away from your campsite, there is what appears to be the now carcass of what I would describe as a small wyvern. So think typical wyvern, they have 2 legs, their arms are both wings. This thing is maybe about the size of probably about a black bear, so it's not super big, but it is still kind of identifiable as a draconic-like species. And you are noticing that I would say a wolf-like creature is currently going to town and eating it. This wolf-like creature is very similar to... Oh, I forget the name of the species. But basically, its fur is very white throughout. It is about the size of a grizzly bear, so it's a very big wolf. And interestingly, it has horns that is similar to that of, say, Hylongs. But for the moment, it does not seem to notice you, or if it does, it doesn't care.
I'm gonna tame that.
Let's see here.
I am totally uninterested, so I'm just gonna chill on a log sitting in the corner. I can see stuff, but not affecting me, so I'm just kind of ignoring it.
Hylong, is this a pack animal?
No, this is a singular hunter from what I remember. We call them the Henath.
Any chance we can drive it off? Maybe with a log from our fire?
I mean, if you want, we could certainly do so, but I don't think we're in any danger of it attacking us.
Okay, then.
It's...
So what's the word, Captain?
Hylong already said it. We leave it be.
Alright.
All right. So you head back to your campsite. Most of you go back to sleep, and watches are taken up. And the rest of the night passes pretty much uneventfully. You wake somewhat rested in the morning. You know, not as great as sleeping on a Starfleet bed, but, you know, you at least have energy to spare. You see that sometime during the night, Hylong has gone out and basically acquired meat from whatever the wolf left, and she's currently cooking it over the fire.
Did just out of curiosity,
Mm-hmm.
for clarification, Did they take all of our tech? Or was all of our tech removed, or was everything basically removed that we had?
Literally everything. So no comm badges, no med kits, no Starfleet uniforms, nothing.
Even my knife?
Even your knife.
Oh.
What about Maddox's knife?
Even Maddox's knife.
What?
Oh.
Oh, that's just rude.
What about the multitude of blades that Sin has?
Yeah, those are gone too.
Well, darn.
My antennae droop with sadness.
How many knives did this crew have? Dang.
Not enough, clearly.
Mine is for my background. It's not because I like knives. I like using it to chop ice because my room's really cold.
Got it.
All right. So, as long as no one, I don't know, does anybody have any sort of scenes for the road, or shall I skip ahead?
Oh, I'm totally chilling while we're eating, whittling out something nice and sharp and long and pointy.
Okay.
I
I will
assume
call it my walking stick.
I will help if we need to gather any vegetarian options for our Vulcan and vegetarian members.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
I
There's a way
would.
for me to like forage or something.
I'll be nice and say, yeah, you're able to find what is basically the equivalent of a blackberry bush. And
Nice.
Hylong would probably tell you that it is safe to eat.
Okay.
Crowley would probably be gone for like 10, 15 minutes at a time, scouting ahead and then coming back. Just running. Just having fun.
I'm 15 again.
He certainly feels like it.
Oh God, have you Benjamin Buttoned him?
I will leave that to your imagination.
I want to see if there's maybe like enough materials around that I could possibly like MacGyver like an axe of some sort.
Well, I would say you can't make an axe, but you could certainly make a rudimentary spear.
Sure, let's go with that.
All right.
What about a bow
in
and
case
arrow?
it comes up for whatever reason, any improvised weapons are going to be one challenge die, and that's
Okay.
it. They don't. Oh, let me roll back a little bit. It's one challenge die, and it has the cumbersome quality in that you basically have to spend your minor action to aim in order to really use it.
Gotcha. Okay.
What about making a bow and arrow?
So about that, you don't really have any sort of string on you. So you'd be missing the bowstring.
So you
Oh, I
just
guess it
have a
would be
bent
easier.
stick.
Yeah, it'd probably be much easier than to make spears for everyone.
All right. So for sake of argument, we'll say everyone now has a spear should it come up. And, you sort of head on your way. And we'll say probably about 4 to 5 hours later, you do eventually arrive at a ravine. And this ravine is very similar to the sort of coastal path of Thermopylae, in that it's a very narrow ravine, and there doesn't seem to be but one way in and one way out. And Hylong does say Arcos should be at the end of this ravine. I don't think I need to point out the fact that we're kind of boxed in here.
I suggest we take the climb and approach from the top.
I mean, we certainly could try, Captain, but as you probably can see, I didn't bring any climbing equipment.
How difficult of a climb does it look?
It looks like you're dealing with sheer rock walls, so not very scalable.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, kind of imagine a fissure in the earth, and the ravine is the fissure itself. And you kind of have to go down into the ravine to get where you're going. But yeah.
How long does this ravine factor into the story?
It does indeed, and the reason I did compare it to Thermopylae is that it is very similar in legend, that it is probably due to the restricted size and cramped space that enabled Sidrad to hold off so many of the bandits at once. I believe on Earth it was the Spartans that held off the Persians.
I might be unfamiliar with that one. How did it end up for the Spartans?
Well, as far as I remember, which isn't much, mind you, the Spartans hold off the Persian army for quite a while. Then someone betrays the Spartans, and the Persians get behind them, and it is a sort of a heroic last stand type moment. All right. So, you guys press into the ravine and, continue onwards, and eventually, you come to a sort of a gentle slope that goes back up into the mountains. And I will put you on this map. So what you see on said slope is a quiet little village. The houses are built out of wood and thatch. There are some stone components to the buildings, but for the most part it is, very basic building material. The slope itself does accommodate a few tracts of land that is currently being used by farmers. And as you approach, the populace does take note of you. And even in the distance, you can see that there is sort of, I guess you would call them runners, going about and basically relaying messages. And I would say probably about a 5-minute walk from the edge of town, a particular individual does begin heading in your direction. And he looks like this. So what you're seeing coming towards you is a blue-tinted Cerrado Draco. He stands about the same height as Hylong, and if you remember, Hylong is about 6'8", or I think sometimes I've said she's 7 feet tall. Basically over 2 meters. This blue-scaled Cerrado Draco, though, has what appears to be 3 horns, rather than the stereotypical 2 that Hylong and the Cerrado Draco of the present have. The extra horn sort of juts out of the middle of his forehead, very similar to that of a unicorn. If it matters, he has long flowing black hair. He is built like a seasoned veteran, and he possesses piercingly golden eyes. And he doesn't seem to carry any weapons with him, but as he comes within shouting distance, he says, "I'm going to need you to stop right there."
Oh?
Let's do as he says.
Right,
I look at this Hylong. What do I sense from her?
She is currently trying to get a gauge for who this person might be. You get the sense she has a feeling, but she's not 100% sure.
And what do I sense from the visitor?
You sense that he is wary and cautious.
I'll just lean side to the captain. Captain?
Yes.
This is real. I can't sense holograms. I'm getting emotion from him.
Good to know. Thank you.
So, well, I'll stop.
Okay. So, assuming everyone comes to a stop, the individual kind of looks you all over and says, "Whatever Erdrog has sent you to say it. I have little patience for his babblings."
We do not come for Erdrog. We are
Or
our
from.
own.
Finish your thought, Captain.
Uh, we are our own men and women. Um, if anything, if there's anything we can do to help you, we would like to.
He kind of gives you a thorough visual inspection. And, Captain, I'd like you to roll me a presence plus command, difficulty 2, please.
Okay. Does this have anything to do with diffusing the tension?
I would say so, yes.
I need to look up that talent. 1 second.
Pretty sure it just reduces the difficulty, but let's see. Diffuse the tension. Whenever you attempt a task to persuade someone not to resort to violence, you may add a bonus d20 to your dice pool.
Okay, and you said daring command or presence command?
Correct. Difficulty is a 2. I don't think you have any momentum because that got eaten up by scene changes.
Right, and would diplomacy come into play as focus?
I'd say it would, yes. I see green, which is a good thing. All right, yeah, you guys get 2 momentum. So, the man, after he gives you a quick inspection, eventually his face cracks into a smile and he says, "Very well. If you are here for trade, I cannot speak for the rest of the village, but we would welcome you. However, I must inform you that Erdrog has sent runners ahead of you, and this place is likely not going to be safe in the coming days. If you feel up to the challenge, though," and, he kind of looks over everyone else at this point and says, "You all seem like able-bodied warriors. I would appreciate any help you could provide in defending this village."
A community such as this deserves defending.
Indeed. Well then, come, join us. We are currently holding a warrior's feast for those of us that will be fighting on the morrow. And he sort of turns, motions for you to follow him, and goes back towards the village. And Hailong, though it probably doesn't need saying, says, if anyone hadn't figured it out already, that's Sidrad. Or Sidrad. I don't know why there's an N in his... Let's fix that. There we go.
So, does anything of the tale mention extra warriors fighting alongside with him?
So, and this is how long saying this, all of his battles, there are others present, but either they're just not important to the story, or they don't win as much glory as Sidrad, so it's not worth mentioning them. I don't think us helping him is going to affect anything.
Well, let's follow him, I guess.
All right. So, as you all kind of follow him into the village, we're going to take an early break here. And if you guys could be back by no later than 4:35, please.
Alrighty.
Sounds good.
Alright, and I am back.
Commander Crowley has returned.
Welcome back. Well, looks like
Thank
we
you.
put a couple follows. Thank you, of course, for the follows. I appreciate it. Yeah. I'm just glad that the Streamlabs overlay stuff is working. I kind of threw it on at last minute a couple weeks ago, and yeah, it seems to be working fine.
That's very cool. Doo-doo-doo-doo. I wonder how we appear to everyone else.
Well, considering the fact he didn't call you aliens or gods or things of that nature, you can probably assume he sees you as normal Serato Draco.
Yeah. Just imagine Crowley with horns.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, you know, finding art for a made-up species is kind of hard. So I've more or less been using either Tiefling or more humanoid Dragonborn art.
Ah. Dragonborn are my favorite species in D&D.
Oh, most definitely. I usually play one myself, if not a Aarakocra.
I'm playing an old timer in my other game. Quite enjoy it.
Yeah, it's
I
been
heard talks of D&D, so I had to come back.
my group on Wednesday just finished the Tomb of Annihilation, and
Oh, nice.
I mean, I'm glad it ended, but man, I honestly don't think I could ever sit through another like dungeon crawl like that again.
Yeah, Tomb of Annihilation's like super grindy.
Yeah, it's grindy. You play the guess which I am thinking game way too much. And had the GM not pulled a few punches, like, because, you know, I read the module after we finished, he could have TPK'd us at least 7 or 8 times, and he didn't.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The GM of my current group has had boss characters hit me with a 20, and he's like, this comes to a 32, what's your AC? He's like, 33. He's like, that's just a normal hit. I'm like, yep. How much damage does he do? Well, he does ongoing. I resist more than half.
Yeah.
I am the tank!
Unfortunately, in Tomb, I won't say specific traps so that people won't be spoiled, but there's a lot of save or sucks, which basically will either screw with your character, your equipment. It's just not a good time.
Like the one thing that always gave me trouble, like the yellow flower things.
Oh God.
Those are the worst. It's actually the first campaign where I decided to play a rogue, which is personally my least favorite class in 5th edition. And it actually didn't go terrible because I played the Inquisitive archetype that came out in Xanathar's Guide to Everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of my favorite archetypes to come out in a while. I love it.
Not entirely familiar about it, but I have heard people say good things about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I play 4E. I do like 5E, though.
5e is really good for people who are just trying to learn D&D. It's really easy.
4E is for the insane amount of stuff you can pull off with your powers.
Oh, yeah.
At some point, I'll have to dig up my level 30 character from 4E. We did an actual, like, 2-year campaign to get them to 30.
Wow.
And I think, if I remember correctly, I had an AC of 58, which is more than Tiamat.
Jeebus criminy.
Yeah, the GM loves my tank. I've AC, Fortitude, and Will are all on par. Reflex is low because I did that on purpose. Because if I had brought, I could bring it up on par as well, but if I had done that, he would make everything hit everyone on low rolls.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's one of those things with 4E that you either have to balance around the one tank or you kind of have to nerf people.
Yeah.
It doesn't help that I can launch people 45 feet away from me if I hit them with a basic attack.
Lord. 4E does some ridiculous stuff.
There is a sorcerer build I have. We're waiting for one of our games, side games to use. His name is Paul P. Teen. He's a storm sorcerer, and he has a plus 30 something at level 16.
Good
Damage.
lord.
Just the damage.
That sounds rad.
This is why I play 5th edition.
he used to be the king. He's been dethroned. Trying to get back to his empire.
I love the people I'm running a 5th edition campaign for right now, though, because one of my players is playing an air genasi, and I love genasi so much in 5th edition. Just wish we'd see them in a book that wasn't the Elemental Evil Player's Companion.
Yeah. My session on Thursday was a 2-hour shopping and crafting session. That was fun.
Yeah, I try to avoid shopping sessions. I don't do them very well, in my opinion. Oh,
yeah, they're tricky. Probably won't do one for another few months, though.
All right, is everyone back? I think I've heard from everyone but Janice and Sabo.
I'm back.
Okay.
Janice?
are you there?
Oh, he actually ticked away.
Okay. We'll give him another 2 minutes. Why not? I did say no later than.
Another good build I'm actually going to be doing is a Warlock. Mooster Krakish. Human. He is all about pulling creatures around him, typically party members, and giving them free attacks. What's going to be fun, though, is they don't realize he's actually the evil guy.
Oh, that's fun.
He's going to be...
Warlocks are stereotypically an evil class.
Yeah, he serves a lich. He's 1,000 years old because he's kept in suspended animation, pretty much.
There you go.
Does he have any children?
Nope.
Also, there's no son of a lich?
Well, no, the lich doesn't have... I don't know the lich. He serves the lich.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
My bad.
But
that
yeah,
doesn't help my joke.
No, it doesn't. No, he has one ability that's really cool. If he touches a player, he can turn them into a demon.
Oh.
So, that's slowly gonna consume their souls.
As one does.
Alright, well, the aforementioned time limit has occurred, so let's get everything going again.
Oh, Janice is
look
here.
at that. He comes back right as we start. Good stuff.
He always comes back right in time for food.
Alright, so, Sidred takes you again into the village, and upon seeing that Sidred is escorting you, the rest of the villagers sort of resume their daily lives. Children running and playing in the streets, people going about, errands, things of that nature. And eventually, Sidred leads you to the center of what is basically a town square. And there is a grand, long wooden table that is currently covered in all manner of meats, cheeses, and I would say some sort of liquor, maybe a weak beer sort of thing. Maybe an ale would be the word I want to use. And yeah, Sidred takes the head of the table, motions for all of you to sit, and says, please make yourselves at home. And if there's anything we can get for you, weapons, shelter, armor, please let us know.
Thank you very much. Your generosity is well received.
Okay.
But yes, we could use all of those things.
All right. So we'll handle this in an OOC fashion because it is a pseudo shopping type thing. So for those of you that remember way back when we did our first holodeck episode, There are certain weapons and certain armors you can pick up. And for sake of argument, I'm going to put those in Discord. So
I think
just
they're
let me-
already right there under resources. It's the most recent post.
Oh, well, there you go. Yes, if you look under resources or in the general tab, you should see what I have prepared for you.
Well, I'll just go with leathers and a sword because I have the focus of that.
Okay. Roll me a 1d100, please. A 16. Alright, so Captain, when your sword is delivered, you almost have to double take because it is a spitting image of the one that you have from Hylong.
I will just look up the person handing it to me and say, excellent, I'm used to using one exactly like this.
The villager just sort of smiles and says, well, I'm glad it's to your liking. And
Very much, thank you.
kind of scurries off. Alright, so that's the captain. What is everybody else going with?
Let's see. Think I'm gonna take chainmail,
Okay.
and let's go with. Let's go with an axe.
Okay.
So
Crowley, Janice, Sabo, what are you guys going with?
Crowley would just ask for black leather.
Okay, sure.
Of course he does.
With,
Janice. Oh, go ahead.
With a cloak that kind of matches the vegetation around the hillside.
That probably will be a little bit more difficult to get, but we'll see. What about your weapon? What are you taking as a weapon?
Let's see. I'll take 2 daggers.
2 daggers. Okay. Janice, what do you take? Or Sabo, what are you taking?
Well, I was gonna suggest the commander get some gloves to cover up those neon hands he's got going on there too.
Ooh, right.
Well, people think there's like some sort of rave party going out in the woods.
Although it doesn't appear that any of the villagers have reacted to them.
Just in case. I'll get gloves too.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt.
Okay. So my remaining 2 players, what's your armor and what's your weapons?
My big old sturdy self, I'm going to take the plate.
Okay.
And then I'm going to take a sword.
Okay. And then finally... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to be a clubbing beast.
And then finally we have the doctor. Doctor, are you taking up a weapon at all, or would you be more focused on getting what passes for medical supplies?
Yeah, I will not take a weapon.
Okay.
I will take whatever they can scrounge up. And I'll take leathers just in case.
Okay.
But yeah, no weapon.
All right, so I'll say you basically get a kit that contains some plant salves, along with some rudimentary cloth bandages, as well as sort of, if you remember or don't know, back in like the Civil War, like typical kits came with very strong brandy or equivalent alcohol, because that's how they dulled the pain, was basically getting the person drunk as shit.
Okay.
So you have, I would say, 2 maybe airplane-sized bottles of this liquid.
Okay.
But yeah, as this all gets delivered to you guys, and as you maybe dig a little bit into the feast, Sidrag does kind of speak up and says, "So, what brings you to Arcos? Surely it wasn't simply to fight for us."
Arcos was the nearest settlement. We were in the wilderness with nothing.
And how did that come to pass?
We
Captain,
are explorers. We want to travel and see everything that we can.
It's the first I've heard of any travelers like that, but I suppose we are in a day and age when that sort of thing is very important. Do you fancy yourselves map makers then?
That would have been good, but we had no supplies with which to do that.
Bit of an odd tale, but I mean, I tell just as many odd tales of my own, so he just kind of chuckles to himself and starts nomming down again.
while they like to travel, I like to test my hand to hand. I just look at Sin and smile. Hailong, sorry.
Hailong does roll her eyes, and it's a very obvious gesture.
But it should be interesting to see how this village fares against the upcoming battle. I do hope that everyone is able to survive and make it the next day.
Well, that is the hope, says Sidrad. If all goes well, the only injured or dead individuals will be that of Erdrogs.
What are Erdrogs?
So, if you remember, Erdrog is sort of the recurring sort of antagonist in many of the mythos that the Serrato Draco have. And Hailong told you this on your walk over here.
Oh yeah, I did.
So do you think this defeat will push him back?
Well, it's hard to tell with Erdrog. Some say he has the god of war at his back, but personally I think he's just a man.
I will look over to Hailong to see if she explains that.
She just kind of nods, but doesn't look like she wants to say anything. Like, as if she feels this is an adequate explanation. Alright. So, my question becomes, do you guys do anything in particular between now and the coming morning where the battle will begin?
I want to check the perimeter, see if there's anyone watching us.
Okay. I'll give it to you free. You take a walk around the village's edge, and you're not seeing any obvious or slightly hidden signs of someone keeping an eye on you.
Okay.
I'd like to speak with Sidrad to see if he has a strategy for the battle.
Oh, he does indeed. So he says, well, I'm glad you asked. There is a set of ruins approximately halfway through the ravine. You might have passed it coming here. It is there at these ruins I plan to make my stand.
How far away is that?
It's about 2 hours walk.
And how late is it already?
At this point, I would say it is getting to be the twilight hours. So, one sun is already down, the other is pretty much halfway down the horizon at this point.
Okay. I think that is an excellent idea. Any bowmen at the top of the ravine.
I considered that. However, we do not have very many bowmen here in the village, let alone enough arrows to support such a campaign.
Well, given what you do have, I think you've come up with an excellent strategy. My team and I will be happy to assist.
Wonderful. All right, let me just grab some tokens here. All right. Anything else anyone wants to do before the battle takes place?
Kind of like doing rounds of the ship before a battle, I will kind of just take a walk around the town.
Okay.
Just look at it the way it is now before there's any fighting or violence. Soak it in. Study it almost.
It's a very peaceful looking town. Based on what you're seeing, the village was initially a farming village, and while it's sort of stayed true to its roots, you do see some somewhat obvious signs of industrialization. Rudimentary at that, but they are making some strides in, how they grind their food, things of that nature.
Would I spot the captain walking around?
Oh yeah, you would spot him.
Hey, Captain.
Hello.
You the same thing I'm doing, or something else?
I just wanted to get to know what we're protecting.
I just wanted to apologize, Captain.
For what, Commander?
I really feel good. And that's been distracting me from my duties as a first officer. You're my captain. I'm not the one that should be acting first.
No, it's fine. You're a good commander, and I trust your experience. If I disagreed with you, you would have known.
I don't know if Q plans on pulling us out if we start getting killed off, but it's been fun.
I could not be happier as a captain. You've been an excellent first officer, and you still are, and you still will be.
You've been a good teacher.
Although hopefully you won't be a first officer for too long. There's a ship out there with your name on it.
Well, if there is, it'll have to wait. I want to make sure that I'm damn good ready for that captain's chair.
You will be.
It's strange breathing in again with both normal lungs. There's no pressure inside. It just feels right.
I'm happy for you. My back is still killing me.
Well, I managed to be spared Carruthers, so unfortunately you're not so lucky. Unless you want to get cubed.
No. I can endure a little bit of pain. I have for the last few decades. I can keep going.
Yeah. I know for all the interesting qualities Carruthers has, he's a good officer. And
Oh, he is.
he has a good personality too. He is confused when he speaks, but his emotions are always clear.
I suppose that's true. It's very good insight.
You should have him look at your back if it is bothering you.
I will.
I'm going to do one last look around, make sure that none of the dishonorable are sticking around trying to do a surprise attack at night.
Okay.
What is Hylong up to?
Hailong is pretty much sitting at the grand table, still eating and, feasting in general. And she seems to be making conversation with some of the more normal warriors. She seems to be asking them what I would qualify as sort of anthropology-like questions. She's trying to get their names, what they do, where they come from, almost as if she is trying to get a feel for the people that surrounded the myth and the legend, rather than the legend himself.
Okay. I'll leave her to that, and then I'll, probably head off to bed after I'm satisfied with my walk around.
Okay. Anything else anybody wants to do or RP before we cut ahead to a battle scene?
I'm good.
Yeah, nothing here.
All right, well, let's cut ahead then. So, as I put you on this map, I will describe it a little bit. So, in what might have been a stone church or a grand hall of some sort, you find yourselves being led to this location by Sidrad. There are a few walls that are still standing. There are several columns, stone columns, that are also standing. There are what appear to be trees in what would be the earth equivalent of fall, so they are losing their leaves, and mostly just branch showing. The ravine itself maybe extends a good 20 feet off this map in either direction. So you pretty much have to come through this great hall in order to get to the village. And if you guys want to move yourselves around on the map to where you'd like to be, I will say that columns, walls, things of that nature will impart challenge die worth of resistance. It just depends if there is something between you and your assailant.
Okay.
Yeah, let me know when you guys are finished moving, and we will continue.
Which direction are they heading from?
The village is to the north. The Erdrog's forces are supposedly coming from the south.
I suppose since I learned from Hylong, I'd probably be best fighting near her.
Okay.
So where is she positioning herself?
She is going to take up a spot here. So I need to move Sidrad a little bit, but yeah, right about there.
I'm good where I am.
You said they're coming from the south?
From the south, yes.
Hmm.
See. I'm gonna move. Oh, never mind. I'll go like right here. It looks like there's like a building or something in those trees. I could be wrong though.
There is a column right about here.
Okay, yeah, so I'll be right there.
Okay. Crowley, you happy with where you are?
Yeah. Was I able to get a dark colored cloak?
Unfortunately, no, they did not have a cloak for you.
Dang. Yeah, I'll be fine there. I'll be by the tree.
Okay. So, as you all sit there and wait, there is sort of an unspoken anxiety hanging in the air, because, it's not just you, there's other Serato Draco there with you. Sidrad, though, is pretty much the picture of composure. He simply waits patiently, and he is taking in his surroundings pretty much every 5 minutes. And eventually, all of you would hear the sound of rustling, and a individual does make himself known. And he is a black-skinned man, Serato Draco, with horns that sweep back past his skull. And he's kind of runty. Like, Hylong and Sidrad are pretty bulky. Erdrog is actually fairly skinny and fairly short. But as he makes himself known, he says, "So, you decided to stick around. I give you one last chance to throw down your weapons and walk away. Sidrad replies, "That's not going to happen, but I will extend the same invitation to you." And Erdrog sort of laughs and says, "We outnumber you 3-1. Wow, that's being generous. We outnumber you 30-1. There's no way you can take care of all of us." And Sidrad just sort of says, "I suppose we'll just have to see." And Erdrog begins to step back, and at the same time, he gives a sort of... Oh yeah, thank you for reminding me to shift the map, sorry. He gives a sort of war cry, and not from like hidden positions, but bandits begin to make themselves known. So a group there, one managed to sneak up to there, one's over here. And yeah, this is where we're going to go into initiative order. Let's see. I'll just put Sidrad and Erdrog. Okay, so it is the players' turns first. What would you all like to do? Who would be acting first?
Is he like right there?
Yeah, he's right there.
Let's see here.
Who wants to watch your man get dismembered?
Blast him with your repulsor cannons, Iron Man.
Where's your AA-12 shotgun? Oh wait.
Oh, the shotguns are my arms. That's okay.
Let's see. I think Sin will act first here.
Okay. What is she doing?
Can I see that bandit that's in the trees?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I'm going to use a minor action to move up.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. And then if I take an additional minor action, I have to spend 1 momentum, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I'm going to spend a momentum to take the aim minor action.
Okay.
And then I'm going to take a swing at this bandit with my axe.
Alrighty. Go ahead and make it so.
Alright, so that'll be control plus security, right?
Daring plus security for melee.
Daring plus security. Gotcha.
The base difficulty is a 1, and it is an opposed roll. So if you totally fail, your opposed person can attack you back.
Right. And I'm guessing, yeah, hand-to-hand combat wouldn't apply here.
Oh, hand-to-hand would apply, yes.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
Alright, so 1 success. Let's see what the goon rolls. 1 success, and I keep having to look this up because I want to be extra sure.
Is it
pretty sure
on a
Tiger's
die, the
player.
acting character? Yeah.
Yeah, it goes to the attacker.
Yeah.
Okay, so that'll be 3 challenge dice for the base of the axe. And then plus the security of 5, so that's 8 challenge die?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Alright, and it does have Vicious 1.
So that's 9
damage.
Yeah.
Alright. So, Sin, you rush over to the nearest bandit, and using your axe, you more or less cleave a deep gash in this bandit's chest, and he clutches the wound and sort of falls over dead. So he's dead. But yeah, that is your turn. On Erdrog's force's turn, Erdrog himself is going to move back a little bit. I forgot to put ranges on here, but anything within 10 feet is going to be considered close. 10 feet to 30 feet will be medium, and then anything beyond 30 will be long or extreme. So Erdrog is going to sort of retreat behind his forces right about here. And then he is going to fire a crossbow bolt. Or no, I think I have to spend threat for it. Yeah, because it's got cumbersome. I'll spend some threat so he can spend or use his crossbow. And he is aiming specifically for Sidrad. So let's see how well Erdrog rolls. Well, good for Sidrad. Erdrog's shot goes completely wide, and he sort of lets out a string of curses, but other than that, no one is harmed. So we come back around to the players. Who's acting next?
Crowley, be sure to subtract a momentum since I did the extra minor action.
Alright. I guess we'd be back down to 0 because we had a scene change.
Yep.
There you go. Okay, so how far can I move in one go?
Up to 30 feet, I believe.
30 feet, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna move up to this guy right here.
Okay.
Whoop. Hello, friend. And, daggers aren't even in my hands. I'm just gonna straight up, uppercut him.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll daring plus security. Difficulty of 1. Let's see what happens.
Daring plus security. Focus is hand to hand. Yeah.
Yeah, bandit fails. So yeah, go ahead and roll me some damage.
I believe that is a 5.
Cool. So yeah, you more or less drive the palm, your glowing palm, into this guy's solar plexus, and it immediately breaks beneath the force of your blow, and he goes down. These guys are really easy to take out if you haven't gathered already.
And I'll just say, is that all you got? Looking at the Erdrog.
Erdrog just kind of laughs and says, "You think this is all I have?" And on his turn, several more bandits sort of come into view. So there's another 2 here. There are some more over here. And it's starting to look like, while you have the advantage of quality, Erdrog has the advantage of quantity. So he basically can just keep throwing bandits at you, sort of like a meat grinder. Anyway, for the actual action on Erdrog's force's turn, this bandit is going to run up to Crowley, since you are right there, and take a swing at you with his sword. Alright, so you need to roll 2 successes here in order not to be hit.
Okay. And I'm assuming hand-to-hand can still be a focus for me?
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Alright, so you actually get a counterattack on this guy.
Yeah.
Alright, so this strike isn't enough to bring the guy down, but it is a powerful blow nonetheless. You seem to knock the wind out of him. But yeah, we come back around to the player's turn. Who's going next?
Can we take 2 turns since we've got quick action?
You can indeed, yes.
Cool. I need to. Okay, I need to move twice, but I'll spend 1 threat, I suppose, to get into range of this bandit off to the west.
Okay.
And I can't do a 3rd minor, so I will just attack regularly.
Okay.
I'm going to give you 1 threat to get us a 3rd die.
Okay. Look at that. Let's see how many the goon rolls. Oh, it's a good thing you spent that threat. So you get 1 momentum, and you are able to hit the guy. So
That is 11. No, just 9.
Yeah, Yeah, just 9. So yeah, very similar to what Sin did. You come up with your sword and you slash across the bandit's body, and it's like cutting the strings of a puppet. He just sort of crumples to the ground, bleeding out and dead. And next up is Erdrog's force's turn. Oh no, wait, you were keeping initiative. So who's acting next?
I mean, we don't have to, but does someone want to go now?
I'll go.
Okay.
Okay. So hold on here. I'm looking at something. Why are you not cooperating with me? It's underneath. Okay. How shiny is my armor?
It's pretty darn shiny.
And it's really bright in the day.
I think I see where you're going with this, but yeah, the suns are overhead, providing ample light.
Okay.
High noon.
Okay. We get yelled at for this. I know it's coming. So, I am going to. Nobody's in range for me for 30 feet.
Mm-hmm.
I can see this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to step up 30 foot straight south. So, measure this out. That's my little. Yep, that's about right.
Mm-hmm.
And I am going to raise my very large sword that I got, and I'm going to be very boisterous and bolsterous and yelling. And what was the name of that sun god? The one that
the
was
sun god. There's 2 of them.
the male one.
The male one. The
Yes.
male one is Tindro.
Tindro. I'm gonna yell really loud in a very commanding voice that I am your god, Tindro. And if you want to survive this battle, turn away from your leader and leave him for punishment by your gods.
So, roll me a presence plus security. Difficulty 4.
Hey, we ain't got no damn momentum, do we? Son of a bitch!
We got one. We've got one.
Give me that momentum!
That's a bold move, Ensign Janus.
Where the hell is? Hold on, did I just lose my roll 20? Am I in roll 20?
No, it seems like you disconnected.
Son of a.
That's called karma.
Yeah, no.
The Ethernet
Like,
god
oh,
said
you
no.
think so, huh? Okay, go back in there. Come on. There he is. Okay. Okay. Okay, now I should be bumping back in.
Yep, I
There
see
you
it.
are.
Okay. And sorry, I was doing roll 20 stuff, so confirm the roll.
Presence security, difficulty 4.
Presence. Oh God. Oh, thank God for security.
Here, let's go. We want green.
Yeah. Let's see. Can I use my inspiration focus because I'm kind of inspiring them to turn?
Sure.
Yes.
Oh, if he does this.
And we're chewing that momentum, right?
Yeah.
Because hopefully we're gonna go from all these dudes to 1.
Let's hope.
Okay. If this works, I'm gonna be a hero. If it don't work, I'm gonna get yelled at.
Oh, you're gonna get yelled at.
No matter what.
Please
Oh,
use.
Jesus Christ, a 0?
Hey, you say
Nothing.
elimination?
Wait, hold on.
Yeah,
These
12
are all
you got.
farmers, you said, right?
Say again?
You said these guys are all farmers we're defending, right?
Yes.
My value is living off the land is done by strong hands.
Sure.
So do I get to reroll on that?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay, hold on, come on. Presence plus security. Ah, damn it! I don't get 3, or I get a reroll, right, of 3 dice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's hilarious.
Ah,
So
You tried.
Janice, you say this, and from behind you, you hear an audible facepalm from Hailong. And all of a sudden, the bandits seem to focus on you in particular.
Well,
So, on the bandit's turn, this one is going to run up and attempt to cleave you in twain with his maul.
I have heavy armor, so hey, positive out of a negative.
All right, well, you got to roll me 3 successes here on your daring plus security, otherwise you're getting hit.
Lovely.
Pew pew pew.
Gonna get my medicine ready in the back here.
Ooh. Doesn't the Ushan? Oh, that's only if I use my knife, though, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Some bitch. Pack tack.
it's only a 3.
Yeah. Oh well. Can't live forever.
Yep, so you're getting hit. And they have a grand total of this. So, 5 stress worth of damage, reduced by your armor. So I think you only take 2 stress.
2 stress.
Alright, so it comes back around to the player's turn. We have Hailong, we have Sabo, and we have Sidrad that have yet to act.
I mean, really, I'm just going to move up to be in just a little bit. I'm not going to engage in an attack, but I want to move up so I can be closer to the action if I'm needed.
Okay, why don't you have you go very last then, just
Okay.
to be on the safe side. So Sidrad will actually go then, and those of you that are not currently engaged, or at least have a free moment in combat to look around, Sidrad sort of holds out the palm of his hand towards the sky, and he clenches his fist suddenly, and within his grip materializes a great sword. This sword is, I almost want to say, bigger than his Zweihander, so it is a big old sword. And it seems to be comprised of pure energy. And the color is gold like his eyes. And as it materializes and he holds it, he gives a bellowing war cry. And in a feat of extreme agility and strength, he goes from where he is all the way to where Erdrog is and attempts to attack him.
Snap.
All right, that's 2 successes for Sidrad and 2 successes for Erdrogs, but tie goes to the attacker. So Sidrad does bring his greatsword down on Erdrog, and though Erdrog does put up a good fight, he is indeed struck for a grand total of, wow, 1, 2, 3, 4. For a grand total of that much damage. So while Sidrad has more or less cut a great gash in Erdrog's left arm, making it seem slightly lame, Erdrog sort of grits his teeth and still stands through the pain. So he is still up despite the mighty blow from Sidrad. And yeah, would we like to keep momentum to have Hailong go at this point?
That would involve giving you 2 threat, I think, right?
No, we've got quick to action.
Yeah, you have Sandra's quick to action.
Yeah, I'm fine with Hailong going.
Okay. So, Hailong was the rare among you that actually took a ranged weapon. So she just kind of brings out her bow, takes aim at the bandit that is next to Janice, and opens fire. And it might help if I had her sheet up myself. Alright, so that is a control plus security. She does not have a focus. Alright, wow, she actually gets what she needs. So that is a grand total for her. That is a grand total of 6 challenge die. Oh, would you look at that. So, Janice, the very same bandit that came running up to you and struck you, suddenly there is an arrow right between his eyes, and he just kind of keels over dead before you.
Look at the strength of your god.
All right, so with that all happening, Sabo, of course, you can opt to move forward at any point, but I'm just going to do rapid turns for these bandits.
Yeah, I'm just going to move up to be parallel next to Hailong.
Okay. So that bandit's going to move there. These 3 bandits are going to... I'm just going to move that to the GM layer. These 3 are going to go there. This one is going to go to Crowley. This one's going to attack Sidrad. This one's going to attack Sidrad. And I think that's all the ones that are on the map at the moment. Yeah. All right, so let's start with Sin and move clockwise. So Sin is going to need to do a melee roll.
Yep.
Number to beat is 2, so you need 3 successes or she's getting hit.
Alrighty. See, daring.
And at some point, I should probably figure out a way to do a macro for Yuga. Well, there you go.
Hey.
Yeah, so go ahead and roll your counterattack damage, and let's see if you cut the guy down.
Yep.
You do cut him down.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, next we have the 3 on Janice, and I'm just going to roll these in order. So 1, 2, 3. All right, that's a complication for them. That's interesting. So Janice, in order, you need to get 1 success, 3 successes, and then 2 successes to avoid being hit.
Okay, and that is a daring and security, right?
Correct.
Daring and security. Okay, 2 dice. Okay, there's 1. Oh, hold on, not yet. Now it's 1. I'll do the 3 of them in succession.
Okay.
Also.
Okay. Very nice. All right, so you're going to get 2 attacks of your own. So go ahead and roll those damage, but you are also getting hit once.
Okay, and let's see. I had that up here. I don't know why it keeps giving me. There it goes. And then minus armor.
Yeah, so I think you only get 1 stress.
Okay. Oh, I have to take at least 1 stress from a hit, or is that 4 for the effect?
It's 4 from the effect.
Okay.
Yeah, also it's a vicious 1.
Okay. Stress. There we go. That's good. Then I'm looking at my sword, so it's 2 plus my security with vicious 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 2 plus my security, which is 4. That's a total of 6.
Let's see it happen. Okay, so you cut down 1.
Okay, and then do it again with another 6 dice.
Yeah, that one you just lopped the head off of.
Yeah.
It spins in the air, trailing green blood everywhere, splattering across your plate armor.
Oh, yes. Your war god loves you all. I don't even know if it's the war god or not, but sounds good to me. I don't know.
Oh, dear. All right. Up next are the 2 bandits that are attacking Sidrad. So that is a 1 success, 1 success. Okay, he gets an attack, and oh, okay. Nice. So this is interesting. As a notable NPC, Sidrad has some both focuses and some abilities. And one of those abilities is he can make an area attack. So I'm going to say the first attack he does is a standard sort of block, parry, then slice off the arm. But the second attack is going to be an area attack to whoever's still living around him. Sort of like a whirlwind, if that would be a good descriptor. But let me roll the damage for the first attack. All right, so that bandit is dead. That bandit is super dead. But then I need to roll damage for Erdrag and the other bandit. All right, they would help if I hit the right thing. Wow. Wow. So, interestingly, and Hylong will more than likely point this out later, Sidrad not only is able to cut down 3 people as if they were basically made of paper, but when he goes to cleave Erdgrog in twain, the sword embeds itself in Erdgrog's chest, and Erdgrog sort of looks down at it and begins to laugh. And before everyone's eyes, or at least anyone who's paying attention, Erdgrog's form begins to sort of evaporate and disappear. And Sidrad sort of yells after the fleeing fragments, like, "Come back, you coward!" But Erdgrog is no longer on the battlefield. You know what? I should probably leave his token on it, since that's what we're using for turn order, though. So I'll just put him over here. Alright. So, at this point, I'm going to roll a morale check for the bandit forces, simply because leader was already cut down a little sooner than I thought. Okay, yeah. So, most of the bandits begin to flee at this point. So only another 3 are actually going to make themselves known. So one up here that sort of snuck around. Come on, GM layer, thank you. One up here that snuck around to the east. One that snuck around to the west. And then one more that will be over here. He should not have an X. All right. And again, we're going to handle these sort of all at once. So this bandit's going to run up here. This bandit is going to run up here. This bandit is going to go for Janice.
Yes. I mean,
aw. And yeah, let's continue to resolve, because I forgot to roll Crowley. So we got to roll Crowley's melee rolls here. So need to roll a 3 and a 2 there, Crowley, to avoid getting hit.
All right.
Oh, wow, okay. Yeah, you get the 3 you need.
And 2. Wow.
Okay. So, you can do your counterattacks, but I'm looking at the time here, and I'm looking at how many enemies we have left. I can wrap this up in a narrative fashion if people don't mind.
Let me knock these guys out first.
Okay.
Crowley's is keeping track of a body count, so
yeah. All right. So, you do kill one, but the other is still standing.
You think that I got knocked down with my unarmed?
Mm-hmm. So he's on his ass. But basically what happens at this point is Sidrad lets out a rallying cry. And he says, "After them, we cannot let any of these bandits escape. They must be cut down here and now to prevent them from harming anyone else." And pretty much everyone else, like the non-visible NPCs, sort of go, "Hoorah!" And they sort of follow Sidrad as he chases after the fleeing bandits. But it is up to you all whether or not you go with him.
if I'm not getting direction, I'm gonna chase after him.
Yeah, I am.
I'm
too.
gonna give a command. Arcadia, let's stay back and make sure we don't get flanked.
Very well.
All right. So all of you sort of hang back as the bulk of the minor forces that Sidrad controls sort of runs off. And as you are sort of taking stock of yourselves, none of you really took any injuries. Janus is a little bit scratched, but his plate armor pretty much blocked everything. And Hailong just sort of remarks, well, that was different. And as almost as if to comment on the fact, your good friend Q appears. And since there are no other Serato Draco around to see her, there is no immediate worship of a god, but she does kind of say, that was interesting. As many times as I've replayed this event, this is probably the second or third time that good old Sidrad has pretty much won the day within 5 seconds. I sort of wonder if it was worth bringing you here in the first place.
It will have been Q if we're able to get the Cruthier back home safely and without cultural contamination.
Oh, not to worry. I've already sent them back home and erased their memories.
Very well. Well, I hope you were entertained.
Oh, well, Sidrad did most of the entertaining, but my amusement has been sated.
Oh, come on! You had to chuckle a little bit because of me.
Yes, about that. I'll let Tindro know that you were taking his name in vain.
Okay.
I'm guessing that's another Q.
Oh, no, it's
Oh,
not a
definitely.
Q.
Oh, okay.
Are you familiar with the Calamarain at all?
Those are little wispy, small, globy things.
They're not small, but yes, they are sort of a wispy nebula type creature.
Eh.
I thought you said Alamarain.
We don't talk about that episode.
Come on, let's play some hopscotch.
Oh God, no! It didn't
was
lock.
a
It didn't lock
hilarious-
into place. It didn't lock into place until you said hopscotch, and
Yeah, that episode was a thing. Luckily, Q is not vindictive in making you do that. But Q just sort of looks at everyone and says, well, I suppose some of you might think that was underwhelming, but I'm content with what happened here. If you certainly wish to stay and... She kind of points off where Sidrad ran. If you wish to stay and help him a little bit more, I can certainly allow it, but... You've passed my little test. I'm content to send you back where you came from.
I think that'd be excellent. I think I'll let history run its course now.
Which should be said, and she looks directly at Hailong for this. There's a reason the legends keep changing with who tells it. I guess you could probably figure out why. And with a snap of Q's fingers, you find yourselves all back on the holodeck. No worse for the wear, exactly in the same equipment and dress as you left.
Like we're back in Starfleet uniform?
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh. Wow.
All right, everyone. That was an excellent use of our holodeck time. Although we should let the rest of the crew, we senior staff, use this quite enough. And I believe we need to get back to the nearest starbase and warn them about the Borg.
Yeah, so I'm going to do assessing of the damage to this vessel and get a manifest draft of what we need for repairs and resupply.
I'm gonna tend to Lieutenant Janus's scratches.
Oh, those are gone. Those did not come with him.
Carly, are you still feeling okay?
Yeah, I'm still feeling really good. And still glowing, too.
Okay, good. Well, I'll be on the bridge. Everyone, you know your duties.
All right. And as people begin to filter off, I am curious. Actually, let me do a quick check here.
Janice is going to stay on the holodeck as everybody else leaves.
Okay.
He's gonna reenact the whole thing, but this time his ploy is gonna work.
All right. Let me do. Where is it? So, what is the cruising speed of a sovereign? Isn't it warp 6?
I think there's a million different answers.
Let's go by whatever it says on beta. Yes, the cruising speed is warp 6. So, I want it to be a 15-day journey.
I have a quick question while you're calculating that.
I might have an answer.
The what was the name of the aliens that we had sent back again? I never was quite sure of that.
The crew tier.
The crew tier. Okay, we did use the transporter to beam them on board from the planet, correct?
Correct.
Is there some sort of... Doesn't the transporter keep like a log of... like a biological log of things that are being transported?
Yeah, it does at some capacity.
Okay, I just kind of want to keep take a copy of that log and put it into my... You know, as we're cataloging new species and things, so that if we ever encounter them again, that we have some sort of at least medical, biological information on them, whether it's for medicine or whatever, so that we at least know their anatomy.
Okay. All right. So I've done the math. It will take you approximately 20 days to return to Narendra Station. And that is assuming you go at your cruising speed of warp 6. So you can obviously speed that up, but it is recommended that you sort of stick around 6 just for the sake of the ship.
I'd like to go faster than that until we can get into instant communication range.
Okay.
And then we can slow it back down to cruising speed.
Okay. Let me do the math on that. So we need to go 10 light years. Calculate. How high of a warp factor would you go?
I'd go... Let's do warp 8.
It will take you 3.5 days to get back in instant communication with Narendra.
Okay, let's do that then.
Okay. So, during that 3.5 day period, what is everybody up to?
I'm going to have the commander come in regularly, like daily, so I can do a checkup to check on the progress of his recovery and just to see what the status is on him daily.
Okay. As far as I'm aware, his status doesn't change, but Crowley may say otherwise.
We'd probably spend a good little while on his downtime, seeing if he can like change the bioluminescence. Like he's like trying to see if he can like alter the color just by focusing on it.
No joy there.
No. Other than that, he would have dinner with Andromeda.
Okay.
And yeah, full on meal, enough different styles to give her a sampling of 3 different cultures.
Okay. She's extremely appreciative, but she does comment at the end of it that she'll probably stick to her suit's provisions from now on.
I'm gonna go ahead and find Carruthers.
Okay. Where is the lab? There's the lab. Alright. Oh, look. It's old tokens. Alright. So
My blurry face.
yes, your blurry face that no one knew. Alright. There you go. You find Carruthers in his lab.
Hello, Captain.
Hello. I know you've been working on some updates for my prosthetic spine. Now that we're going back to Narendra Station, where I believe you'll have greater facilities, I'd like to go ahead and get that taken care of while we're at base.
Are you having issues with it currently, or just a checkup?
Well, as you know, I am due for a replacement, and yeah, I've been experiencing a bit of prolonged pain.
Oh, that's not good. Please have a seat. I'll take a scan.
I sit.
What you'll notice in his lab that one of the tanks he has, you saw it before. It was an arm. It now looks like it's slightly buggerfied. Kind of moving a bit.
I sit in a way that I don't look at it.
He'll come back with a tricorder and attempt to scan your spine. What would that be, GM?
That would be a reason plus medicine, difficulty 1.
Where is there's medicine? I'm using the wrong sheet. Let me go find Crothers. All of a sudden, Crowley scanning you. And would bioengineering come into the focus with scanning?
Since it is an artificial spine, I would think so.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're able to get all sorts of information about the spine. I guess it just depends on how you guys want to flavor it.
I have a technical babble if you're up for it, Captain.
Babble away.
It seems you and the commander have a little something in common. The method for laying the nervous system with the artificial spine and the rest of your nervous system is slightly out of alignment. It's a 0.0001 discrepancy, but it's enough to cause some issues. You have it in your spine, he has it in his hand.
Yeah, I've with each prosthetic that tends to happen about the toward the end of the prosthetic's lifespan. I often have this degradation.
Yes, it's becoming too common though. I would like to do a replacement, Captain.
I thought you might say that. I assume you can coordinate with Narendra Station to get everything we need.
Most definitely, yes.
Okay.
It'll be an honor to replace your spine with something more sturdy.
Is there a new technology I should be aware of?
No, it's just I always wanted to say that to someone who needed a new spine.
Oh, okay.
Anything else, Captain?
No, this isn't my first rodeo. I think that's the expression. Thank you, Carruthers. If you need anything, let me or the doctor know. But we should be back at Narendra Station. Well, how far are we now?
In order to get in communication range, you're about 2.5 days out, but after that, it'll be another 15 to 25 days back to the station itself.
So, in about a month.
In a month's time, that she'll prep me with some simulations I can do trial runs on the holodeck, make sure that I do not expire the captain of the vessel.
Excellent.
That was a joke, Captain. I've done surgeries before.
Yes. What's happening here with the arm?
That one was originally going to be used for the commander if he had another issue with his synthetic limb, but since it seems to be fine, I decided to have it, as everyone likes to call it, tubed. Watching the nanites repurpose cells at an interesting level. It's quite fascinating, actually. It doesn't have a body connected to it, but it's trying to find a way to assimilate further. It's interesting. The Borg technology is quite terrifying, though.
True, but the more we know about it, the better off we'll be.
It is fascinating. They not replace the functions of a cell. They override the cell. They latch on and make it do new functions. It's quite fascinating how they rewrite it. It's very interesting. I would love to have seen how they developed this technology, how the Borg even began. It's astonishing that something like this could be as old as they think they are. It is a nice reference point for my own designs and studies. My other project's coming along well. I have made a change to my other project, though, Captain.
Do tell.
I did not want to risk losing the AI program that we have. I made a duplicate of it back when we first encountered it. I have started programming that duplicate and copy differently than the original, just to see how they branch off and change. This one will be the one given the body, just to see if it can function. This way the original's not lost.
What kind of changes did you make?
I let it sync up with my memories more than the other one.
I see. Well, that does sound fascinating. Please send me a weekly report. I'd like to read that as well.
Very well.
All right, well, thank you. I will be going back to the bridge.
Have a good day, good night. I don't know what day it is.
Have a good one.
Yes, thank you, sir.
All right. Any other scenes people want to get out of the way?
Yeah, I'll have one with Janice. Crowley with Janice.
Where do you want it to happen?
My office.
Okay. Let's see. Alright, so this is not in Alon's office anymore. The captain is not there. Alright. Let's see. Crowley? Yeah, I see Q too. And where's Janice? There's Janice. There's Janice. There you go. Carry on.
Hello, Lieutenant Janice.
Sir?
Please have a seat.
Very well.
Going over the encounter with the Borg.
Yes, sir.
Looks like you had an interesting time at bridge before the captain was able to get there. And an interesting time at helm. Please tell me your reasoning for attacking the Borg vessel so close. Final strike, as it were. What was your thoughts on that? What made you to make the decision?
Well, they were already busted down to a point that they were vulnerable. They were cutting into our ship and holding the Roddenberry. So I felt it was either them or us at that point. I know the Arcadia probably could have took a couple shots, but I was afraid that the Roddenberry would not be able to survive a single attack of the magnitude they were able to unleash. So I decided to tactically make a decision to remove them as a threat.
And you feel that was the right decision?
We're all here asking the questions, right?
What are the other options you could have taken?
I could have done some tech stuff that would take longer. We could have tried to change the shields to try to cut their beam from us, or we could try to overthrow their engines since they were already in a broken shape. However, that made the Arcadia breakaway. It may not have done so well for the Roddenberry.
Roddenberry had 2 lives on it versus everyone else on their ship. Do you think you'd make the same decision again in the same situation?
Absolutely.
That's good to hear. I'm going to talk with the captain, but on 3rd shift, I want you in charge of the bridge.
I appreciate your confidence, sir.
I hope it's not misplaced. And I know you love the Roddenberry. You want to take it out for a spin. I think you are better suited to be aboard the ship, though.
I understand your reasons, and logically it makes complete sense. However, I'm not a logical creature like a Vulcan, so emotionally, I like to go fly things that are a little more maneuverable. But that's life. Not everybody gets what they want in life.
You're a good officer. I am
Most
very
days, sir.
happy. I'm very happy to have you as a helmsman.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And thank you.
Sir.
You saved my life too. And I'll extend out a hand to shake his.
And I gleefully take it with a little bit of a smile and a nod.
Dismissed, Lieutenant.
Very well, sir. And I walk out.
As
Fashion.
as the door opens, I'm standing right there, and Eddie's sun god. Commander, you wanted to talk to me, and I will let the door close behind me as I go in, because he knows we're talking about him.
I'll be still laughing my ass off as I go down the hall.
Hello, Captain. So, actually, I just mentioned this to Shervik. I'm going to put him in charge of Gamma Shift.
I think it's going to be a good role for him. I actually wanted to talk to you about that. I want to switch up the shift rotation.
Very well. Anything in particular?
Just avoiding complacency. If we stay on 2 shifts forever, everyone gets used to it. Switch out. I like switching around the number of ships every month or so, just to keep everyone on their toes. But I agree. Let's give Janice a shift.
Very well. I will do rotating scheduling and get that set up within the next 2 days and get everyone adjusted to it.
Let's wait until after Render Station.
That can be done.
All right, and I don't think we need you in the Roddenberry during fights against the Borg.
I don't know. I think it's a good tactic.
I think having the Roddenberry out there is a good tactic, but we've got the QEC for a reason.
In that moment, the QEC could have failed. A Borg drone got aboard the ship even with the shields up. It could have taken control of the Roddenberry and started attacking the Arcadia. So that's why I didn't go with the QEC.
That could happen either way.
Well,
You have support staff on the Arcadia. You have a med bay on the Arcadia. The Borg may be able to transfer through shields, but we can't.
I didn't feel like it was a risk having another vessel attacking the Arcadia.
I understand. We'll do some more simulations. We'll figure out the kinks.
It is a nice ship, though.
It's a good one. But I prefer its crew.
We can look at some of the other crew of the ship, see if they can pilot it. I will be pretty strict with them, though, but that ship needs a good pilot.
It's not like there's... The problem isn't that we have more expendable crew.
I just want someone that can handle it and make it back.
Alright, I'm needing back on the bridge, but we'll talk more about this later.
Very well.
I'm glad to know you're doing better.
I feel good. I haven't felt tired at all.
Less so than normal?
No, just nowhere. Want to keep going.
Well, don't push yourself and keep seeing the doctor.
I will. I feel like I'm just out of the academy, being assigned to the ships, and boundless energy to keep doing what I want to do. It's refreshing.
That's good. I'm happy for you.
I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to getting back to Narendra. Wouldn't mind sending a few data packets back home. See how the family's doing.
Yeah, I think the rest of the crew could use a little bit of shore leave as well.
Yeah, Borg really elevate the stress of everyone.
Really? You got stressed?
Oh, I sensed the whole ship, Captain.
No, I know.
That first message: resistance is futile.
Well, we both know that's not true. Right. Carry on, Commander.
Captain.
All right. Nalan, Sabo, did you guys have anything?
I've got one.
Okay.
Quick one. I would just imagine Sabo at the end of his shift going back into his med bay, and he sort of pauses when he comes in the door and heads into his little office, sits down, pulls up his monitor, and pauses again real quick, then reaches forward and hits a button, and E.T. starts to play on his little monitor as he watches it curiously.
Oh dear. Sabo has become interested in movie night. Starts with E.T. and then the next thing you know, he's watching Honey, I Shrunk the Bajorans. Alright, very nice. I love little flavor events like that. Okay. Nalan, did you have anything?
I actually don't know.
Okay. So, in that case, sort of the final scene of the session will be, Captain, you are in your ready room, and it just so happens that you get a communique from Admiral Haru as soon as you're within hailing range.
On screen?
So you, of course, see Haru. I won't put her token down because I think we've laughed enough this session. But Haru just sort of smiles at you and says, Captain, it's good to see you heading back our way. I look forward to reading your reports.
Did you receive our previous message?
I did, yes. I feel it's best that we talk about that in person, though.
All right, but I am happy to report that we received no casualties, right?
No one
No
died.
unnamed red shirts. Okay.
But there were some severe injuries, but they've all been handled at this point.
And I will tell her that there have been no casualties.
Very good. I think it's worth mentioning that tensions with the Klingons surrounding Narendra have gotten a little bit worse than the last time you were here, but I believe that change is possibly on the horizon.
I assume you'll want to talk about that in person as well?
Indeed.
All right, we'll be there in, 20 days, you said?
About 20 days, yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, very stereotypical Star Trek. We sort of just go to the exterior of the Arcadia as it's flying along at warp. All right. So that was the end of the session. I did want to solicit some feedback on stream because people have said that they like it when we do feedback on stream. So the one thing I'll say is, as much as I tried to set up an epic battle, I think it just is not supported by the system. Combat is much too fast, and while that's not a bad thing, because, that means we're not stuck in combat for forever, it does kind of mean that after 1 or 2 rounds that the victor has been decisively been confirmed. I don't know. How did you guys feel about that?
Well, when it comes to the mechanics of this, it's not really nothing. I mean, if you stay with their flavor, because we don't have too many options, either shoot a phaser or club them with something.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like D&D where you get to go, okay, well, I'm going to use one of my 17 powers I have. So, I mean, and with that, in regards to that, there's no control over that by you really, unless you do some home adjusting and flavoring, which kind of pulls it away from the whole system.
I would say one thing I like, it's just a personal thing. If we down someone, I like to do my own flavoring, if possible.
Okay.
Just because it's like, my character does it because he's trained like this, such and such, or he has this weapon or this knowledge.
Okay.
But that's just for like combat there, like just the hand-to-hand stuff. The system, I think it could be. It doesn't seem as. It's definitely fast-paced, but it's faster than 5e for sure. 5e, you can have a battle going your way for a moment, and then all of a sudden, someone rolls horribly, and then one person's dying. So it's kind of hard to go back and forth. But I guess you can try different methods in the future and just see which one we like the best.
Okay.
It does kind of remind me of what I've heard from 4E, where this battle, there's all the minions who basically have 1 hit point, and then the big boss.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of thought that we were going into like this is wave 1, and then there's like 6 more waves on the way, and we need to protect. I keep wanting to call him Sinbad for like 5 rounds or so.
I think all of us did.
I'll say that actually is what I initially planned, was sort of a wave thing, but I was looking at the time, and I think us playing out those 5 waves was going to take us a lot longer. So what I think I'll do is anytime we have a battle in the future, I'm going to see if I can't figure out how to do a melee or ranged macro for you guys. That way all you have to do is select your token and hit the button. And that should speed things up considerably, I think.
Actually, let's try this.
I mean, I know it's possible because I've seen it done in other games. It's just going to be a matter of me figuring out the syntax.
Oh. There's that.
Oh, are you rolling straight from the sheet then?
Yeah.
Okay.
It does look really nice, too.
Nice. All right, well, I mean, honestly, I've never seen that part of the sheet roll before, so yeah. A little bit of homework for you guys. If you can make sure that all that is filled out properly, we can hopefully do combat even faster in the future.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Any other feedback, thoughts, concerns, etc.? If not, we do have to handle some reputation rolls.
Hey.
Man, I wanted to be a sun god so bad.
Your people live underground.
Well, I was waiting for you guys to like yell at me about it. I was sitting there thinking about it while I was like, well, am I going to do this? Am I going to do that? And I had to sit there and said, well, if they yell at me later, what do I have justification? I had this whole thing in my brain to justify when I got yelled at, why I could do it. And you guys never yelled at me.
No, that's your new nickname. That's what they're going to call you on the bridge.
You're no longer Janus, you are Sun God.
Sunny boy.
Whoa. I'm gonna have a name tag on my uniform. It says Lieutenant Janus Shavik, and underneath it, it's gonna be in quotes, the sun god. No.
And
Oh,
then on the back of the uniform where you can't read it, it says Sunny Boy.
Oh.
one thing I'd say is I definitely don't mind having combat carry on over into the next session. So if we have to like pause
Mm-hmm.
the battle, I don't mind it carrying over.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. Like, I thought it would have been really fun if, like, something happened to, I'm going to say Sinbad again,
Mhm.
and, like, the stress of, like, oh no, the timeline. That could have been really fun.
I was very tempted to rush. What was his name there? Udgrod,
Mhm.
and just destroy him.
Right.
Yeah,
and
I was kind of like, are we supposed to let Sinbad do that?
So there's two thoughts on that. As you probably have seen up to this point, I like rolling in the open because I feel that is the most fair. But what I can start doing is sort of fudging and rolling behind the screen. Obviously, that's going to muddy some things, and it's not going to make it as clear to either you guys as players or people watching. But I can certainly start doing it that way if you would like me to do it that way.
Like what do you mean exactly? Like you'd like to do private rolls for yourself to see
Yeah,
if my
so
attack goes?
instead of, say, seeing that, the only people that would see that would be myself.
Okay. Yeah, like I'm never opposed to like the GM. Like the GM has a blind screen for a reason. He's meant to roll the stuff back there. So I'm fine with us seeing it or not. I personally don't mind.
Okay.
No, and the thing is, it would allow you to do stuff like if Uber G or Uber freaking Sinbad dude hits it for 10 or 12 or 15, you could be like, okay, maybe I don't want him to do that this second. It gives, that doesn't bother. I mean, you don't have to lie, but at the same time, you don't want. We went in there, we all set the stuff up. I got with badass armor, and your boy goes over there and slices them up. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, that
okay, well,
that is a surprise. To
yeah.
be
I was like,
sure.
that's really heavy armor for me to wear for me to watch somebody else do dances.
Actually, I had a good idea. If you have so you're only rolling and you see the stuff, you can just tell me like, okay, now you counter. You don't tell me what I'm countering or anything, how much I'm countering. It's a guess. So it makes us go, oh, I'm going to spend the momentum to go and add an extra dice. Because if I see you roll, let's say you got 2 crits, I'm just like, okay, determination, momentum for an extra dice, 3 dice rolling, and a focus. There's a
Yeah, I
chance.
like that.
Do that. All right.
This way here, it makes us guess, and I think it could also build up a way for us to like more suspense.
Okay.
Well, yeah, and it'd probably make our momentum choices a little more strenuous and tactical. Does that make sense?
Because if we see that you roll, let's say a 2 for melee, I'm just gonna spend momentum to get a 3rd dice and beat it. It takes away like, oh, I know I can hit this.
Okay.
Still a chance of us not rolling, but this way here we don't know exactly if we're succeeding or failing until you tell us.
All right. All right. I got that written down. Okay. Well, if there's nothing else, let's get reputation out of the way.
We killed so many people.
So, I think overall, I can't really think of any negatives. So why don't we just have everybody do 2 regular reputation rolls?
Okay.
And remember, on your sheet, if you go to the gear page, there should be fields for your current reputation and things like that. Now, I don't know if you can do rolls from there. I know on the official sheets you can, but I don't think you can for this.
I do it every time.
I go up by 2. I'm at 18 rep.
Ooh,
my God.
is 5 within my privilege?
It might be. Let's look.
Check your privileges, Captain.
God.
I'm well aware of my privileges.
Nah, your privilege is only a 4.
What? All right, that's fine.
So what do we roll?
So you're rolling 2d20, and you haven't done a reputation roll yet, have you?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so for you, you're looking for below 10 because you start at
Below
10
10.
reputation.
Okay.
And you are Lieutenant Commander, so if you roll a... Okay. If you rolled between a 19 or 20, you'd lose 1. And if you rolled below a 2, you'd get 2. So actually, I think your reputation stays at a 10.
Well, doesn't it stay the same since he didn't get any negative influences? It's a little funky with that.
Ooh,
This
20
is a fair
days.
point. I think we've been doing it that way, where we've counted crit fails as minuses anyway. Because otherwise, there's no point to the crit fail.
Mhm.
But I guess it normally counts as 2 when there's a negative.
Right. So yeah, I think you're solid across the board. You don't change your rep at all.
Okay.
Okay, I keep screwing up this roll thing.
Yeah, don't forget the slash.
That's right.
Let's see. So I gained 2 rep. I'm gonna go look at some of the medals.
I don't think any medal is 2 rep. I think the minimum is a 3.
Oh, there's a couple of 2s actually. Let's see. Decoration of Gallantry, cost 2.
So it looks like I just gained 1.
Yep. All right. Well, I think this is where we will actually end the session. And this time, since we did sort of the after session talk during the game, players, you don't have to stick around. In fact, I'm going to hop off right away. But for those of you watching on Twitch or on YouTube, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.